So when it says describe how you could carry out a simple experiment to show that warmth is necessary for plants to grow well, well, what it wants is an independent variable and a dependent variable. What are you going to change and what are you going to measure, right? So my independent variable, let me move that there. My independent variable that I would change would be the temperature. So I would want to be growing plants at different temperatures, and I want to find out that the ones that have the right temperature, the ones that are warm enough, well, they're going to grow well, right? So I might want to measure how well they grow, but maybe, for example, how many plants grow or how tall they grow, perhaps. How many plants grow. Oops. How many plants grow, or how tall my plant grows, how quickly it grows, how many leaves it grows, something like this. But essentially, you're changing the temperature. So you want to see, because you want to know that how the warmth, which is the temperature, affects the growth. So the warmth is your independent, and growing well, that's my dependent. Okay. So that's what you want to do. Then you want to be, and then it's a 4-mark question. So you're going to want to be talking a little bit in a bit of detail here to get all the marks. So you want to probably, one of the things you want to be talking about is a control variable. So remember, the control variable is the other things which could affect it. So what kind of things would we want to keep the same? So we want to be changing the temperature, but nothing else. So that we want to be maybe keeping the amount of light the same. We don't want one of my plants to be in the dark and one of them to be in the light, because otherwise maybe it was the light that made them grow better. All right. We want to keep the amount of water the same. All right. We want to keep the same type of soil, maybe the same size of pot, size of flower pot. So these are the kind of things they wanted you to say for the for designing an experiment. Then the next thing is to actually talk about stage by stage. So what would you do first? What would you do second? So maybe you would say, I would. So for example, you could say, I would take 3 plants of different temperatures, like maybe one at 0 degrees, like freezing, one at 10 degrees, and one at 20 degrees, or maybe one at 15 or one at 30 degrees centigrade. And then you would water every plant this amount of times every day. I would use the same soil. I would use the same size of pot. But the difference would be the temperature. And you want to see, then what would you do each day? You're going to measure maybe how tall they are, or you're going to measure how many plants appear, or something like this, and then you're going to keep a results table. So your results table will always be 2 columns. So it would be the independent on the left, which would be the temperature, and then on the right would be the dependent, so maybe the height of the plant. It could be, or it could be how many plants, but that's kind of up to you, really. So that's what they wanted for that experiment. Okay.